Please give us a brief introduction about yourself. What is your background? How long have you been in consulting business? What kind of companies have you consulted and which industries?
Thank you. My name is Güven Borça. I am an engineer. I work for local and global companies, including Colgate-Palmolive, in marketing department. And I started consultancy business 20 years ago. I consulted more than 100 companies so far, and mostly local, almost all of them local companies. So what I'm doing, what's my mission is that what I learned from global companies in terms of marketing, I try to give that knowledge to local companies, to Turkish companies, to manage their brands better and to have global brands from Turkey. I work for many industries, but mostly we focus on FMCG.
What has been the most challenging part of being a consultant in Turkey? Why?
Marketing is relatively new in Turkey. The marketing departments has 20-25 years of history in Turkey. It started in the late 80s and 90s when Procter & Gamble comes to Turkey at the end of 80s. So it's a new business. This means new opportunities in the market. So the consultancy and branding consultancy business in Turkey had a lot of challenges and opportunities, I believe. On the other hand, the geography of Turkey is very much advantageous. There are lots of opportunities in terms of marketing and branding in the industry, in the geography in this region. So these are the most challenging parts of being a consultant in Turkey.
How do you see the business growth in Turkey in the last 10 years? What are your expectations about the future?
This is Turkish tea, by the way. Now, this geography, economy in this geography is mostly dependent on the politics, unfortunately. The last 10 years, the economic growth in Turkey and in the region was good, but we are suspicious about the next 10 years. We don't know really, because as the business was growing in Iraq and Syria, and now many things stopped. And regarding, for example, Russia as our neighbor, as tourism and business is growing, now one crisis has many consequences. So unfortunately, in this part of the world, we cannot say very positive or optimistic things regarding the future. We hope it will be fine, because this geography, this area has a lot of potentials in terms of population growth and income growth, especially the new geographies, for example, the new business opportunities in the Middle East and Africa. There are lots of opportunities, and I want to be positive, but we never know.
You have done a lot of business internationally, mainly in Europe and the neighboring countries. What are the challenges you have faced? What are the similarities and differences in the business ways of those countries?
Yeah. Really, Turkey is in the center of the world, I believe. And I didn't say that. Napoleon Bonaparte said it some 200 years ago, as Turkey is the center of the world and Istanbul would be the capital of the world if the world would be one state. So this has a lot of advantages and also difficulties, because lots of different cultures around Turkey. For example, the Balkans are quite similar to Turkey. Our habits are quite similar, so we understand each other very well. Of course, they are small countries and the business opportunities is not too much. But on the other hand, the Russia or ex-Soviet countries are big, and there are big opportunities, but culture is totally different. The business culture, the people's habits, and religion, of course, is a major thing. So there are lots of differences. Russia is a big market, but it's very difficult. It's very different how they run their business from Turkey. But on the other hand, Middle East and the countries in Africa have some common points with us. First of all, the religion. They're Muslim, so we understand each other better. But making business is totally different. In Middle East, the personal relations are important, personal trust is important. In Europe, being consistent and being strategic partner is important. In Russia and in ex-Soviet countries, there are different dynamics of making business, and these are totally different things. So, but what brings to us is that Turkish business people are quite flexible. They can do business Russians and Arabs and Balkans and Germans, and also they supply product from China and sell to the United States. So this difficulty and differences in fact gives us an advantage of flexibility.
What are the business opportunities in Turkey and in the neighboring countries?
Now, first of all, these are the countries where population is growing and consumption is increasing. On the other hand, there are lots of things, products, especially the cultural products that could be global brand. For example, in the United States, you are very familiar with French cuisine, Italian or Chinese or Japanese, but I'm sure most of you don't know too much Turkish or Arabic foods. So this cultural things in terms of tourism and eating, for example, this tea. Yeah, this is great. I think you will see in the next 10 years more and more tea products and tea cafes in your country as well. For example, Starbucks acquired Tijuana some 2 years ago, I think, and this is a start, and probably you will see more products from Turkey and neighborhood in the world, like tea and other foods and other cultural products, and probably you will be visiting more and more here. So these are the most important business opportunities in addition to growing population and growing economies and growing middle class in these geographies.
What are your suggestions for those who are planning to work with businesses in Turkey?
Yeah, as I said, Turkish business people are flexible. Turkish people are friendly. Make sure that. So try to understand people, understand the culture, and establish long-term relations. This is one of the most important things in this part of the world. The personal relations are more important than the contracts done. For example, in my company, I do contracts and I work for 20 years, but I never sue anybody, and nobody sued me. Okay, I never go to court. Okay, because I call, hey, what's the problem? I solve it. So this thing is important because Turks are good in human relations, and this is very important for us to have good friend, to have good partner, to have good relations. For example, we have clients and they have distributors working for 30 years in a row. So this thing is important. So understand people, try to establish long-term relations and have good friends in Turkey. then you'll see that you don't need the lawyers, you don't need the attorneys, you don't need to go to court for many cases. Of course, there are risks anyway, but establishing good relations is critical.
How would you define Turkey in 3 words? How would you define Turkish business life in 3 words?
3 words. This is difficult. I can say that as a geography, as a center in the world, and as a history, as leader in the region, depending on the Ottoman Empire. So this is in our roots. And also, I can say that the culture, rich culture in this geography. So the world civilization started here, and first agriculture happened here. So this is the area called Fertile Crescent. So many things started here, and this area, so including Egypt and Iraq and Baghdad, lots of cultural heritage. So I can say that, yes, what I said, this is the center in the world, leader in the region, and rich culture. Second question, Turkish business life in 3 words. I take a note, yeah. Ambitious, hard worker, and flexible. So we want to do something, and we are ambitious, we work hard, we are not lazy people in nature, yes, we are. And also we are flexible, because we are at the crossroad of the world, so we are familiar to any culture and anybody. So this is a Muslim country, but many Christians, Jews, and lived in this country.
What are your recommendations to college students studying international marketing?
Good question. Now, frankly, we learned marketing and branding from American sources. The books we read, starting Philip Kotler to David Acker, and Ed Rice and Jack Trout was really our heroes at that time. But I think the rest of the world started to learn this. So there are new ideas, new approaches coming from. So what I suggest you is not to limit yourself what's in your market or what's available so far. So look around, all around the world there are lots of new business, new ideas emerging. So I recommend you to be open to that, because we learned this business from mostly global FMCG countries. The Procter & Gamble is leader of this, still is, but there are new ideas, new emerging companies and markets in the world. So what I suggest you is to be open to the new world, and what's new, go and walk and try to understand the other people, and try to see how they live and what they want, because the future is there. Thank you.
Thank you.